Every once in a while, there's a shoe that comes along that really surprises me, catches me kind of out of left field, and that was the Salomon Aero Glide 3 this year. After two previous versions of the Aero Glide shoe left me very unimpressed, let's just say I wasn't really excited to test this shoe. However, I am very glad I did test it because it is completely different in a very good way. Stay tuned to find out why. Well, hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Steven. I do want to let you know that Salomon did send the Aero Glide 3 to me to review and test. They're not seeing this footage ahead of time. I'm going to give you my completely honest thoughts just like always. Well, to start this off, let's go over the stats of the Salomon Aero Glide 3. First off, it is a neutral road running shoe with quite a bit of flexibility to it. Now, this is a maximally cushioned road shoe, so there is quite a lot of stack of this midsole foam. The rear comes in at 40 millimeters and the front comes in at 32 millimeters for an 8 millimeter drop. Salomon says that this is actually their tallest stack shoe in their road lineup, and I believe it. As for the weight, my men's size 11 threw it on the scale, weighed in at 9.4 ounces or 267 grams, which really is a pretty great weight for a maximally cushioned shoe like this. And as for the sizing and the fit, my men's size 11 fit just like it did in the other older Aero Glide and all the other Salomons as well. So if you know your Salomon size, you should be good to go. Well, the upper of the Aero Glide 3 is a 3D open mesh material designed for maximum breathability and comfort. And it is very comfortable on the feet. On the inside, there is a nice soft lining as well. The upper is a seamless construction, which you can kind of tell with this little fin at the back of the shoe here. Now, Salomon says this is basically the way they constructed the shoe is they sewed the two halves of the upper together at the rear on the outside instead of internally to hopefully make it a more comfortable shoe. However, I gotta say, the gravel version and pretty much every other shoe out there, there is no fin. It's sewed normally. Look at the old version of the Aero Glide 2 here. There's the seam right there. It's never rubbed my feet. I have never had a problem with any kind of abrasive feel on the inside from that seam. So I'm not really sure why they did it on the Aero Glide 3 here, but they did. As for the breathability, let's take a look at the tissue test. And you can see when the hairdryer is on low, the tissue came up a little bit. You know, not a ton, just a little bit. When I switched it to high, it came up a pretty good amount, showing it is pretty breathable. Certainly not the best, but definitely not the worst. The toe box is pretty wide for a Salomon and really allowed plenty of room for my feet to feel comfortable. I didn't have any hot spots or blisters on my toes or anywhere. It was good. Also on the front, there really isn't much of an overlay or any kind of like support to it, but it's a road shoe, so you really shouldn't be smacking your feet on rocks or roots. The midsole is pretty good as well. It fits my kind of normal to maybe slightly narrow width foot pretty decently. No hot spots, no issues. It was good. Now the tongue on the Aero Glide 3 is a little different. It's actually sewn into the upper, basically like a one-piece upper. And when you cinch those laces down tight, it creates a little bit of an overlap of some material here if you cinch those laces down tightly, or maybe you have a less volume foot like I do. Now I did feel this a couple of times on my feet when running. Where that is actually sewn together to the upper, there is a seam on the inside, and I could feel it digging into the top of my foot, and it really wasn't that comfortable. Now I much prefer the tongue on the Aero Glide 3 gravel version here. It's a better material, it's softer, it's not sewn into it, you don't have to deal with that seam on the inside, and to me it was a much more comfortable tongue. The lacing system though, it does its job. Lay flat laces, they lay flat, they stay tied. I had no issues. It was good. Oh, one other thing. This tongue, it does stick up a good bit. When you have the shoe laced up, it kind of sticks up and flaps a bit. Moving to the rear of the shoe, we have the heel collar here, and it's decently padded. It's not quite as padded actually as the gravel shoe that I just showed you. That has a little bit more dense foam in there. But so far, no issues, no rubbing in my Achilles, no hot spots. It was still perfectly fine lockdown. Overall, the upper of the Aero Glide 3 here is just okay. The discomfort from that tongue was not ideal, let's just say that. The midsole of the Aero Glide 3 is where the shoe really surprised me. I have logged lots of miles in the Aero Glide 2, the Aero Glide original, it's around here somewhere, and both of those shoes just really left me feeling not excited to run in them. The midsole just felt kind of flat or dead. And I'm very happy to say that Salomon went with a completely different foam in the Aero Glide 3. This is now a beaded supercritical TPU foam that they call their Energy Foam Evo. And it is very bouncy, energetic, responsive, cushioned, and fun to run in. And that really was my biggest issue with the previous versions of the shoe, is it just wasn't responsive at all. It felt flat, dead, it wasn't fun. It was just not good. This Energy Foam Evo is completely different. It is fun. It's kind of reminiscent of the midsole feel in the Hoka Mach 6 or even the Saucony Kinvara Pro, which is very bouncy. The Aero Glide 3 features Salomon's reverse camber geometry, which is kind of inspired by their ski heritage. And it's supposed to make you feel like you're gliding as you are running. And I can say that when running in this shoe, it does feel like an effortless gait pattern. It just helps you flow from heel to toe, and it's just a good experience overall. Now, I think the Aero Glide 3 midsole would be perfect for a long ultra marathon on paved surfaces. Maybe you're going to be doing a road 100 miler or maybe a 24-hour track event. I think this midsole is perfect for that. It's energetic, it's cushioned for those long miles, and it just feels really good. The outsole of the Aero Glide 3 is Salomon's Road Contagrip compound, which has a combination of wide, flat lugs, basically, to provide a great contact patch with the surface, give you great traction on pretty much any paved surface. Now, the rubber on the outsole is not thick. There's not a ton of it, but it's enough to where I think this should last you quite a while. As far as traction goes though, I had no complaints whatsoever. I primarily use these for treadmill running, but I did go outside on the sidewalks, on the roads, even on some very hard-packed kind of like urban trail, and it was great. I had no issues with traction at all. Well, there really isn't much more to say about the outsole, except it's pretty darn good. I like it. Well, the Salomon Aero Glide 3 retails for $160 US, which honestly seems like a pretty good price considering you are getting a supercritical midsole that just feels really, really nice. By the way, be sure to look in the description below. There is an affiliate link to purchase the shoes. It does not cost you a cent, but it will help support the channel, and I would appreciate that. The bottom line of the Salomon Aero Glide 3 is it's a pretty great shoe. That midsole is energetic, responsive, bouncy, fun. The outsole does its job. It gives you grip on paved surfaces. It does it very well, and it should last a long time. However, I gotta be honest, and I think I prefer the gravel version better, even for the roads. I really just like this tongue a lot better. It's much more comfortable in my opinion. And honestly, this outsole, it's not bad for the road. It felt perfectly comfortable also. And if you want to take it on a little hard packed trail, you could do that. And it still has that amazing midsole foam. Well, if you tried the Aero Glide 3, be sure to let me know below in the comments your thoughts and opinion. I'd really like to kind of see those and see what you think of this. If you had any issues with the tongue, let us know below in the comments. Well, like I mentioned, I did kind of prefer the gravel version a little bit better. So take a look at that full review on your screen right over there. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to Salomon for sending the shoes for testing. I'll see you in the next one.